Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Oh, it's like Superman, right? Putting back on my disguise. Anyways, hello everyone. How are you all? Sorry, I couldn't find my camera this morning. It's like, oh no. Happy Thursday. It is Things to Think on Thursday. I have the Affirmators deck today along with a subject, which is, I want to say near and dear to my heart, but only because I know we all struggle with I don't know what that was. I know we all struggle with body positivity, or a lot of people do. And you know what, guys? Whether you're thick or thin, body positivity it knows no bounds. Good morning, baby sibling. It knows no size, shape, color, creed, anything. Body positivity can stretch to the person who is the most in shape in this world and still doesn't like themselves, to a person who, you know, some would consider out of shape, who loves themselves. It's just, you know, it's kind of just, I don't know, it's something I want to cover though today, because, and just about judgment, to be honest. God, wardrobe malfunctions, not on time, good Lord. It's going to be a Thursday. Happy Thursday. Oh, let's get going. Card number 1. Netflix and chill. Peace. Netflix and chill, or whatever you do to relax, do it because the card says so. Do it because the card said so. That's right. You heard it right here. The card said so. The little flower child van says you need inner peace, so find it. Wow, we had this. Oh, this is a good one. Don't be hasty. Don't rush to judgment. Just chill. I'm gonna put that one aside because that's gonna go good. I did pull the Affirmators deck, guys, but you know what? I reshuffled the deck last night because I knew there was a specific card I needed in there. So I did pull that one, but don't worry, I don't know what other cards are coming up after this particular one, because like I said, I reshuffled and put them back in the box. Let's see. Don't be afraid to be magical, even if others might see you. We had that earlier in the week as well. Think positive thoughts. We had this one too. Oh my goodness. It's like a repeat. I know I shuffled these. Don't follow someone else's path. Follow your own. Don't follow someone else's path. Follow your own. The reason I put a TV on there is because a lot of times we'll watch TV and we'll think, oh, that person is so right and everybody else is wrong. Do your own homework. Life is good if you allow it. You know, sometimes we just got to open the gateway and say, you know what? I surrender. I surrender to myself, and I surrender control, and just let go and see what happens, right? Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, we got Buckbeak. Those who see the true you will give you the power to set yourself free. See? Those who see the true you will give you the power to set yourself free. Let's do one more. Start each day with a grateful heart. Thank you, and thank you. Start each day with a grateful heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know what? I don't know. I keep hearing pull one more. Oh, you are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. Dobby is free. I love this one because I was just talking about Dobby the other day. So, yeah, you are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. That really comes with, I will not surrender my power, right? I will not surrender my power. When you start to feel like life might be pounding you upside the head, or you might be feeling that, you know, like just all these icky things are poking at you, just try to remember, I will not surrender my power. You know, if you're feeling uncertain of yourself, I will not surrender my power. Because here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of times in our life when we try to be so positive and we start to raise that vibe, we start to raise that frequency. But whether it's whatever you believe it to be, I just call it the baddies. Okay, it could be something ethereal that, you know, you believe in. It could be your insecurities. but something will always try to bring you down because it doesn't want you vibing higher. If it's an insecurity, it's because, it's saying, no, I'm not ready for this. The world is scary. I want to hide in here. If you believe in outer sources, higher powers and whatnot, there's a light and a dark to everything, right? And sometimes you're going to feel like these things are just pounding on you. And, I've felt that way the last couple of days. In fact, it was kind of funny because baby sibling posted a video the other day. You can find it on Marie K 2010 on Instagram or Simplifying Mom on YouTube. And it started out with banana. Okay, now it was a good video. It was a great video. And but whenever I ask her a question and I know the answer, she'll just tell me bananas. And I was literally about to text her when I was scrolling at the same time, and I got distracted and I saw the reels, and the first thing I heard was my nephew say banana and then her say banana. So I'm like, okay, I got my answer. But there was just a lot of different things happening around me, and little signs and numbers and what. She just posted the banana, brat. But I'm very into numbers. I'm very into numbers and angel numbers. And there was one specific one that kept coming up, and it kept making me worried, and I kept thinking I got to balance. Finally I realized, because it was weird. I would get steps before it, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4, 3, 2, which I like to think of as countdowns. And then I would see it, and then I would get steps after. In fact, one of my receipts had a 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I know, right? That's like musical notes. And then there were 666s, and it's just like, oh, good Lord, what is happening? Do I need to balance? Blah, blah, blah. But it turns out that I was allowing myself and what I consider to be the naughty things out there trying to tear us down, just trying to bring me down, because I am vibing higher. I am finding, I am troubleshooting how to make things work in my favor. Like, I will not surrender my power. I choose to be happy. Baby sibling had a great quote yesterday. Oh gosh, I forgot how the beginning went, but when I combined both of our quotes together, it was like a fabulous sentence. Maybe she can remember it because it's in her planner. But my part was choose to shine. But her part was basically saying, life is too short, or all we have is now. That was it. All we have is now. Choose to shine. And it was perfect. In fact, I want to put that on a post-it note. I know. Put that on a post-it note. So, just kind of building on that. That's going to be my unintentional, but very well done. It's funny how things happen. Segue to today's topic. Things to think on Thursday. Why are we so hard on ourselves? Okay, now I was going on the physical aspect of this, but I think there's also a very emotional aspect of this. Why do we beat ourselves up? Why do we choose, or not choose? I don't think we choose to beat ourselves up. Why do we feel like we can't forgive ourselves when we do things? Why do we feel like sometimes it's harder to move on, or we overthink things? And I mean, what did I always say? In the sea of misery is the island of overthinking, right? Because overthinking does nothing but lead to misery. And there are times when we really just have to kind of do this with our brains and shock ourselves out of it. And that's why sometimes I feel when I start to overthink, that's when I choose the affirmation, I will not surrender my power. And for me, sometimes if I know feel like I'm being directly poked by something, I'll just say, I will not surrender my power to you. I am stronger. And sometimes it's something that I literally have to put on repeat. Repeat, repeat, repeat. I will not surrender my power. I choose to be happy. Because sometimes it takes that long for me to feel like I'm balancing again. So it's like pain, right? I just thought of older sibling because she just had her surgery this week. And the doctor gave her some meds, and they're all stay in front of the pain. Don't let it catch up to you because it'll be bad. Unfortunately, we accidentally let it catch up to her today. But it's kind of the same idea. Stay ahead of what tries to bring you down. There will always be situations out there that are going to try to knock you down to your knees, or just straight out knock you out. But we have to take our own power back. We have to take our own control back. I was talking to somebody yesterday and said, hey, so-and-so wants to see a selfie of you and so-and-so. Sorry, I'm not using names because, they don't, I'm sharing somebody's story without their permission, but it was very generalized conversation, but they were just like, I don't do selfies at this weight. And I actually took notes. Actually, it says, I don't take pictures at this weight. And I thought, this is what society has done to us. This is what decades and centuries of, conditioning has done to us, where we feel like unless we're perfect, by society standards or magazine standards or photoshopping and whatever, what do they call it? With the pictures and editing pictures type of standards, right? I can't remember who it was, but there was a model in Sports Illustrated a couple years back who told them, you were going to use the original pictures. You were not going to airbrush. That's it. Airbrush and Photoshop me, and it was a very body positive moment. Like I said yesterday, when you hear me tripping over things, it's because I struggle with it too. And I do. I am all about body positivity, but I'm not going to lie. There are times when I look in the mirror and I'm very uncomfortable. And sometimes I'll stop and think and say, you know what? You're doing the work now. This is all of your pain and your emotions and everything that is just kind of culminated into something like this, And I used to be stick thin, but I had zero body positivity back then too. I've known, I've known, I guess, bodybuilder type people who were very, very much into their health and their shape and their muscles and everything, who had body dysmorphia. And I think that's what a lot of people with zero body positivity actually carry with them, is body dysmorphia, where you feel like you're much different looking than you actually are. You can have a person that might be 5'5", weighs 125 pounds, which is supposedly the right medical weight, and they may feel like they weigh 200. Because that's what they see. Because that's what they keep saying and hearing and processing and seeing. And I'm trying to change that. Now, I'm not going to force people that don't want to take a picture because, at this weight. But, while I was talking to an older sibling last night, I was telling her about this in the subject I wanted to do. And this flew out of my mouth. We're not going for perfection. We're going for memories. And so my next thought was, some might say that some might say that my thinking is because I'm overweight, and it is. If I worry about every picture I take, I'm not going to have anything to show for my current experience. At least you have the memory. At least you have the memory. And here's the trick, okay? Say 5 years from now, you've lost X amount of weight and you look back at your pictures. Don't judge yourself, because you know how far you've come. And if you're comfortable being the way you are, then be the way you are, as long as it's healthy. And by that I mean there are people who are very, very thin because they're anorexic, they're bulimic. There's some of us who are emotionally overweight, and I say that because it's emotional eating. And that's what got me here. But I realized at one point, God, it's like sometimes I look at the pictures like, ooh, how did I get there? And then I remind myself, stop judging you. Because you know what? You're still the same person on the inside. Actually, I'm a little brighter and cheerier than I used to be on the inside, because I took the time to heal. I took the time to take my power back and to take control of my life. And yeah, there's probably still things I'm holding on to, which is why I'm struggling to actually lose the weight. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Because what does matter is that we have to learn, what does matter is learning how to love ourselves at any side we're at. Because here's the thing, If you lose weight and you don't get your emotions under control, it's going to come back until you're ready to release the weight and let it go forever. When you lose something, you usually find it again. That's why I don't like dieting. Dieting is a horrible word. Diet should be a 4-letter word. Okay? I'll drop F-bombs all day long, but diet should be a word that is not in anyone's vocabulary unless there's something before it that says nutritional diet. Okay? Healthy diet. Not I'm going on a diet, or I'm going to starve myself, or I'm going to purge. Because that's all emotional based too. You know, now there's some people who do say, oh man, I want to lose like 5 pounds because, I really like this dress and it only came in one size. That's fine. If these people don't struggle with their mental health or any kind of situational event that brings up the mental stuff, then they're fine. Yes, perfect. Baby sibling said it perfectly. Lifestyle change. It's a lifestyle change. And I know that can be scary. And I admit those 2 words terrify me. Because I have been emotionally eating for so long. I panic when I think about all the changes I need to make. So if you have to, make them gradually. Start replacing this, that, or the other with something else. Eat less. Portion control is another one. If you make a lifestyle change, it doesn't mean you can't go out with your friends. Just practice portion control. Don't be embarrassed to sit at the table and say, hey, the minute your food is delivered, can I get a to-go box? And then separate half of it out. Well, look, you got lunch for tomorrow or dinner, depending on what day it is. But, there was another thing too. When I was waiting for sibling yesterday, they had a video running of their testimonials and whatnot for the office. And there was one guy saying he was talking about the issue at hand, and he was saying, to be honest with you, you could tell how uncomfortable how uncomfortable my situation made the people around me, which makes them uncomfortable, where we come down to this. Don't be hasty. Don't rush to judgment. You don't know what someone's been through in their life. I'm going to use this because I have put it out there that older sibling had dental surgery. But let me give you the background on this. She has CRPS, which is chronic regional pain syndrome, formerly / also known as RSD, which is reflex sympathetic dystrophy. Now, it's an autoimmune disease, and along with other things like osteoporosis and whatnot, she started having a breakdown in her mouth. And dental surgery can be very, very expensive, okay? But because she's on disability, not always easy to come by. And I really, really want to give a shout out to New Life Dental, because they worked with her Steve, formerly known as, I call him FKA Steve, FKA husband, formerly known as her husband, helped her out as well. And I want to say that because I really want to give him a shout out, because that was a very gracious and amazing thing he did for her. When she came out yesterday, she said she wanted me to be the first one to see. And I started crying. Then Diana, the office manager, started crying. And we're just like, she's patting me on the shoulder. And it was just such a beautiful moment, because I know it was a game changer for her, because people would judge her. She had a tooth infection a few years ago, went to the emergency room. But because of the deterioration of her teeth and her gums, the doctor took one look at her and just assumed she was a drug addict, which she's not. I mean, she even told him, look, I have a bunch of pills in my cupboard that could put, Placentia in a coma. Sorry, that's where we live. That could put the city in a coma. And she doesn't use most of them because she doesn't want to use most of them. She'd rather fight through her pain than do that. But she does have her own meds. And I know I'm explaining a lot, but her and I have talked about this, and she's a very open book. She does not mind me sharing this, which is why I'm sharing her story. And, but he judged her right off the bat. Right off the bat. And I was furious because I could see it. I actually made her some RSD cards to explain, because she kept trying to tell him, no, I don't want drugs. I just need antibiotics. The dentist can't get me in because it was a Friday afternoon. The dentist was closed. And then she was in so much pain from the infection, she could not wait until Monday to get in. And that's not even guaranteed she'd be able to get in, because you have to make an appointment to see the dentist. But, you know, he judged her. And he was very cold to her. And he was very mean. And of course, she's my sister, so I started getting that she had to tell me to just not say anything. But then he went across the walkway to an older couple, and I guess the woman has rheumatoid arthritis. And she even told him, I have RSD, CRPS, but she's all, I'm not here for that. I'm here because I have an infection and it hurts so bad. And she was puffy. You could see it in her face. I mean, one side of her face was swollen. But he didn't see that. What he saw was her teeth. And he judged her. And, I mean, when I think about it now, I still get furious. Still, you can see my chest getting red. Oh, just like Sissy. Whenever she get mad, her chest would turn red. You can see it. My chest is turning red. I'm so angry still. And he went across the way and told him, oh, so you're in pain? Would you like me to prescribe you some pain meds? Here's the fun part, kids. Now, I'm not saying the woman was, because I doubt she was. But, she was nicely dressed. Now, granted, sibling was in a t-shirt, jeans, and, she looked nice. But the thing is, she didn't want to bother anyone. Okay, we had 2 neighbors home at the time. I was at work. She didn't want to bother anyone to drive her a block and a half to the hospital. So in 103-degree heat, this woman who's in pain, literally flaring up from her autoimmune disease, walks herself to the hospital. Walks herself to the ER. So of course she looks a little disheveled. It was 103 in the middle of summer and humid. Okay? And like I said, he didn't even listen to her. He just judged her right off the bat. I had to actually talk to the nurse who got him finally to prescribe antibiotics. By the next day, she was feeling better. But you know what? She was hurt because she felt judged. It's making me emotional. And I mean, I was furious because how many of us do that to other people? We see somebody and just automatically assume, oh, well, they don't have teeth. They must be a drug addict. You don't know what their background is. You don't. And maybe they were, but you don't know that they're not clean. Do you? No, we don't. I'm not going to say I've never been judgy. I've been judgy in my life. I probably still am. I judge myself. I judge people every time I get on the freeway. Sometimes I see people driving erratically and stupid, and I think, you know what an asshole. But you know what? Maybe they're in a rush. Maybe they're panicking. Maybe somebody that they know is hurt. And sometimes I catch myself and try to remind myself. You can usually tell the difference between people who are just impatient and people who really need to go. I mean, you can feel the vibe literally going by. But we all tend to judge. And because we tend to judge people, and sometimes we do it where they can hear it, or like that doctor, straight to their face. Because we do that, we put something on them that we can't take back. We put that judgment on them. I said one time I had somebody say to me, if you lost weight, you'd be a much more attractive person. That's right. You're a pretty girl, but if you lost weight, you'd be much more attractive. I'm still not sure how I feel about that. And that was a while ago. That was about a year or so ago. But it still hits me the wrong way. Because, there was a time when I before I started healing and was on this healing journey, and before, decisions in my life kind of set me on a path of emotional eating, that I did take care of myself. And I've tried dieting. I've tried doing those quick, nothing but shakes kind of thing. And I lost 40 pounds and then I gained them all back plus some. Because I didn't fix this. I didn't fix what was in here. I didn't fix what was in here. And I certainly didn't fix what was in here. And by that I mean my soul. My soul was crying out for help. And all I did was feed it. It didn't want food. It wanted kindness, compassion. It wanted someone to say, hey, you know what? You're a very beautiful person. Without the but. You're a beautiful person, but you'd be much more attractive if you lost weight. You'd be much more attractive if you had teeth. You'd be much more attractive if you didn't have all your tattoos. You'd be much more attractive if this, that, the other, if you were, had pink eyes. Who are we to judge? There's another thing I wanted to talk about. I think that's why a lot of times people are just afraid to, like when the person told me the other day, I don't take pictures at this weight. I have another friend that was like that too. I don't take pictures at this weight. And because I don't want people to see me. I don't want people in the way back days to see me. You know what? I can't hide myself. I mean, it's like I said, I except for the lives and some of my posts, I actually keep my Facebook profile private to just family and friends. And I've run into a lot of friends from grade school, from high school, and from my early 20s. And it's just like, you know what? I can't ignore them forever because I want to, become reacquainted with these people. And sometimes it means putting out there what you look like now. And there's no shame in it. We don't know when our time is up. I could die the minute I hit finish on this. Well, I could die right in the middle of this. Not that I'm trying to be morbid. My point is that it's just like the quote I said. We're not going for perfection. We're going for memories. I took a selfie with sibling yesterday. I mean, she was a little puffy face. That's why we haven't posted it yet. Because, she just had major surgery, right? But I wanted her to have her first selfie right out of the chute. And I'm grateful we have that, because if something happens to me or even her, we know it was done. Nothing better happened to her because now she's got her life back. But that's just it. She was afraid of being judged. And I told her very specifically, and this is not to toot my own horn, I said, I just want you to know I was never embarrassed being with you. I was always trying to make her feel better about it, because I see how cruel people can be. I see the people that comment on my weight. Some people enjoy things. Some people are just bigger boned. A lot of people will sit there and say, oh, well, people just want to put out their body positivity because they don't want to lose the weight. You don't know that. You don't know what their situation is. There are a lot of different medical reasons why people might be the way they are. Or maybe they just enjoy it. But who are we to judge? If you enjoy being thin, then don't worry about someone who isn't. And and if they're your friends, don't be embarrassed by them either. It's your personality that brings out the best in you. And to flip that, I know people who are a little, how should I put this? So I put it politely. I know people who are on the plus side, who can be just as assholey. They sit there and they get mad at people who judge them, but they'll sit there and judge other people. It doesn't matter what weight you are. You have no right to judge somebody else. It doesn't matter how many teeth you have, how tall you are, how short you are. You do not have the right to judge somebody else. Thing is, we know what's going to happen, right? So when that happens, this is what I want you to remember. It is what other people think of you is none of your business. What other people think of you is none of your business. If people don't like your politics, or people don't like your hair color, your eye color, maybe you're in a line of work where people don't like your work and they think you're a dick, or maybe they can't separate you from your character, versus who you might be in real life. Forget it. Who cares? Sometimes people are so insecure and angry in their own lives that they need to find an outlet, because they don't know how to go inwards, so they project outwards. Here we go. Number 3. Do we do it because we're afraid to be judged, or we think we will be? Because people make... Do we do it I wrote this down so fast, my punctuation's in the wrong place. So do we do it because we're afraid to be judged, or we think we will be? Or is it because people make snide comments? Take into consideration that might be their own insecurity talking. Don't judge. What other people think of you is none of your business. That was also one of my things. And also, this is more of a tip than anything else. when you take pictures, because these are your memories, take off your sunglasses. All right? I know it might be bright. If it's bright, face away from the sun. But, if it's something that you really want to keep, for posterity purposes, take off your sunglasses. Some of the last pictures I took with my parents before my mom got sick, what I consider our last family picture, we were at Disneyland, so it was bright out. Everyone's got their sunglasses on. But we all had our sunglasses on. And one of my favorite pictures I took with my mom that everybody loves, and I actually recently posted it to Facebook for a mom challenge, we have our sunglasses on. And that was the most recent pic I'd taken of my mom when she was feeling better. Before, I think it was like a week later that, whatever happened just was triggered it. And, we were on the downward spiral. And older sibling always told me, just, take off your sunglasses. And we didn't. And it's something I regret. And I think the reason I wanted to share that was because when we say, I don't want to take pictures at this weight, it might be something you regret. What if you have an older relative? Or what if, something happens? You might regret that down the road. One thing I love about baby sibling is she takes pictures of everything. I love it. I mean, I saw her phone once and how many pictures she has, and it's like, damn, that's a lot of photos. But she's not missing anything. And I know some people sit there and say, God, people take pictures of everything. No, I love it. Because we have that opportunity now. We have that gift. How many memories did we have when we were kids? Those of us who grew up before the technology age. Even before digital cameras, when we had to go develop film, right? I mean, it's like, when 1 hour photo came out, oh my God. It was like, what? I can get my photos back in an hour? I can't wait to see. And then some of your pictures were either too dark. Some of your pictures were like, oh. I mean, some of them you couldn't see, or you have to really kind of stare at it for the picture to pop out at you. But it's something nice to be able to go back on. Older sibling has me taking a picture of her every day so she can see the progression. And she's excited. And I don't blame her. Because I think, the biggest part that's the life changer for anybody who has these kind of surgeries is they're not judged anymore. They're not judged. See, she says, I would take a camera to school since 5th grade. Yeah, her and I are quite a few years apart. When I was growing up in 5th grade, cameras were super duper expensive. But, what she says, it was before digital, which I do know. Digital became really more popular towards, I think, the late 90s, early O's. And even then, it was like a 5 pixels. 5 pixels was major, right? I mean, 3 megapixels, and you're like, ah, wow, this is cool. But if you try to blow it up, anything past an 8x10, you're doomed. But yeah, I'm like, this is how we're related, because we love taking pictures, and so does my nephew. My nephew loves taking pictures, but that's what I love about it. She's constantly documenting her life. People will look back on her life, her kids, her future grandkids, and they're going to say, wow, mom/grandma, she lived. Older siblings in a lot of pictures from all her previous lives, whether it was her time as a horse trainer before she got injured, her time in the entertainment business, or even as her time as an office professional, an executive professional, and even now, like I'll be like, selfie. So, or as my other cousin in Minnesota would call it, an ussy. But I just want people to understand that. Okay, I just really wanted to get that point out there, that we're going for the memory. We're going for the picture with people that we love and care about. The person I know may not take a picture with an aunt who is getting older. And that's a missed opportunity, especially if they're having a great day. You want to capture that memory. You want to hold that memory close. And there might be a time when we're all a little bit older and we need these memories to look back on, right? They bring us joy. They bring us, excitement. I mean, my father gave me a bunch of pictures from my youth. In fact, my cousin, she's a Hanai cousin, but she's since passed away from breast cancer. But I'm grateful I have that picture. Oh my God. Here's when I was 7. Looks like a mugshot. But anyways, or a passport photo, which I don't know why, because I wasn't going anywhere. But those are the things I just wanted to talk about. And the card I actually pulled out of the Affirmators deck is the No Judgment card. Okay? I release myself from any and all judgment. I find my inner critic, call it into my office, and tell it to take a vacation. As it leaves the room, I let out a sigh and begin to enjoy the joy of simply being. Who hired that guy anyway? Right? There's the snark right at the end. But, so you can tell. See, it says, welcome to Joyville. And look, he's happy. It's like a Toyota commercial. But, when I mention brand names, guys, I don't get paid by these people. I mean, I'm not even sure how many people actually see these, but it just, certain things just hit my head and I can't help it. They just fly out. But I guess what I'm saying too, and I think the reason that I kind of tripped over this whole perspective is because it is something I struggle with still. And not because I'm ashamed of myself, but a lot of times I think it's because I'm so afraid that no one's going to see me because they're so focused on outer me. And I am literally, to the surprise of both my siblings who are watching right now, going to toot my own horn. Not knowing me will be a great loss in your life because I'm fucking amazing. All right? I don't normally toot my own horn. I'm not generally, overly confident. When you say that to yourself, you're not a narcissist. You are telling yourself that you are worth it. You have merit. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have joy. That you are amazing and awesome. Now, if you go around acting like an asshole and you say that, then you might be a narcissist. But if you have to ask yourself the question, the point is you probably are not. My therapist told me that. I asked her one time, I said, I do a lot of talking about this. And the other day I was really, really confident. And I said, do you think I'm a narcissist? And she didn't mean to. But fortunately, we were close enough and I'd been seeing her long enough that we had a very open rapport. And she giggled. And I said, oh my God, do you think I am? She's like, no. She's all, if you have to ask that question, you are nowhere near being one. But a lot of times we're judged that way, right? If we say something nice about ourselves, people think, oh, well, it's not a compliment if you're giving it to yourself. And it's like, no, it is a compliment. If you look good and you're going out for the night and you look great, give yourself the high five. Do it. Don't expect everybody else to do it. They might. Don't fish for it. Just let it come naturally. But the point is, even if somebody does not say something, you know it. And that's how we own it. That is how we own it. I have a friend that's going to a wedding this weekend, and he texted me and said, I bought a tux. And he's one of my best friends. I haven't seen him in a while thanks to COVID and the fact that he lives in Canada. But I consider him one of my best friends. We used to, but I don't know. We haven't seen each other in so long. It's hard to tell. But anyways, he's like, oh yeah. He's like, I forgot to tell you about a tux. I'm going to a wedding this weekend. And so I told him, I said, pics or it didn't happen. And he's all, I'm not sure if he's actually going to send one, but he says, don't worry. I own it. But I know this person. I know this person well. And to hear them complimenting themselves is an amazing thing. Because when we feel good about ourselves, it brings out our personality even more. That's what this is. It's being confident. It's having self-esteem. It is, setting aside your inner critic and firing that little asshole. Right? That little inner critic leads to fear, leads to doubt, leads to anxiety and stress and overthinking. It can lead us to the blues, or the common people blues, as I call it, if you don't have a dinged up mental health. It can trigger our depression. It can trigger our spirals because we don't think we're good enough. You have to be good enough for you to be good enough for other people. And by that I mean, that doesn't mean someone's not going to love you, someone's not going to care about you. But if you want to give them all the best of you, you have to learn to love yourself. You have to let the judgment go. That's not a you should let the judgment go. You have to let the judgment go. I have to let the judgment go. I am still very, very judgy about myself, and you can tell that certain comments that I mentioned that were aimed at me, that were kind of like backhanded compliments in a way, and I know there was no ill will meant behind it. I truly know that because I know this person well. I do. And I know that that's not how they meant it, but well, it is how they meant it, but I know they didn't mean any harm by it. But I will tell anybody this. When you go up to a person and they're struggling with their weight, whether it's super skinny or a plus size, I can almost guarantee you they know their own struggle. They don't need you to add to it. They don't need you to sit there and say, well, maybe you should try this, even subtly. Maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try that. Or I do this, I do that. Now, if you do the I do this, I do that, that's one thing. Because what you're doing is, it is subtle and you're trying to help them, but you're not saying you should. You're just giving them suggestions for later down the road. And it's not that people don't mean well, because they do. But it also hurts. Because the struggle is real enough, trying to find that footing, trying to, for a person who has been anorexic or bulimic, gaining weight is the most terrifying thing for them. Because that's what they've been battling for so long. Even if it's just to get to a normal weight. A normal weight for them might feel big. Because we live in a society where the standards are set so high that a lot of people can't reach it in an emotionally healthy way. And so people start to rebel. And that's kind of where I think body positivity came from. I think it was people rebelling and saying, whatever. There's people who are thinner that promote body positivity. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're running a commercial and you want to promote somebody who's promoting body positivity, use different sized people in the commercial. Show them all together. Show people that we can normalize this, that, we shouldn't be embarrassed because someone we know doesn't have teeth or doesn't have hair or doesn't have, a skinny body or isn't, or is too skinny, or if they're tiny or if they're tall. I know freakishly tall people. Okay. I mean, I can literally count on one hand people I know who are 6'5". And I know I say one hand, but I mean, literally, I know that many people who are like 6'5" or higher. And it's just like, holy crap. How do people get that big? Right? I'm stuck down here at 5'4". But my point is, and that's women too. Don't judge a woman who's super tall. I had a coworker. She was 5'11". Okay. And, I used to tell her, I wish I was taller. And you know what she told me? She's all, no, you don't. And she's all, I used to wish I was shorter. I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. And she's all, it was hard to find shoes because most girls aren't that tall. She's all, it was hard to find dates because boys didn't like girls that were taller than, because, people are insecure. And I get it because I'm insecure about other things, not height. She ran through a lot of these things and you could hear the emotion in her voice. Because it hurt her. And I told her, I said, well, let's split the difference. I was supposed to be 5'8", but my spine curved and I stopped at 5'5", well, 5'4.5". But there are times if I stand up straight, I'm 5'5". But see, look, there's an insecurity. But now I don't care. Now I don't care. Because I realize there's more important things in life than how tall or short I am. And there really is. I had to learn to stop judging myself. And like I said, sometimes I pass the mirror and I still do it. And I'm working on it. That's the difference between me now and me 2 years ago. I'm still working on it, but I'm working on it. So remind yourself, you're worth it. Don't rush to judgment. Don't be hasty and rush to judgment. We don't know what someone else is going through. We don't know what pain they have inside. You know, I'm going to give you a prime example. I have a cousin who I adore dearly. Loves period dramas. Okay? But I guarantee you, if I put him in a room full of people, out, maybe I'll just say out here in California, I could sit down, have lunch with him, and people would be surprised. Because at first glance, they would look at him and think, oh, hey, yeah, this guy's just chill. He's just kind of who he is. He likes these period dramas. And it's like, well, why? What do you have to look like to like a period drama? But believe it or not, people would judge that. People would actually judge that. Because we're quick to judge a book by its cover. And we got to stop doing that. When you judge a book by its cover and you don't get to know the inside, you're missing out on a great story. You're missing out on a great story. And honestly, I'm so grateful for him because he turned me on to a new show. And unfortunately, I watched it with older sibling in the room, so now I have to rewatch it. And I say that because it's like, oh, I wanted to binge watch it last night. But she's like, I wanted to see that. And it's like, oh, okay, now I gotta wait. But it's fun to have things in common with other people. So open your mind, open your heart, open your soul. See the people in front of you. Don't worry what they look like on the outside. Who knows? You might run into somebody that you would, maybe 2 months ago not have said boo to. And then suddenly you get to know them. And you may actually be a part of their health journey. You may be the person that guides them and helps them get better because you see them. You're not forcing them to do something. You're giving the encouragement and support that they need. This has been a very hard personal health journey for me because I've really been trying to do it on my own. Not for any other reason than sometimes it's hard to hear things you don't want to hear. And we can't force people to do things in the timing that they don't want to do it. And it's not that I don't trust a lot of the people around me, because I do. I trust my sisters as well. But I just feel like this is something I've wanted to do on my own. Because I feel like I keep letting them down every time I don't succeed. And that puts more pressure on people. That puts more, almost like it puts the stops up, right? Like the light turns red and you're like, oh, okay, great. I let them down again. And I'm sure that that's not how they see it, but it's how I feel because I'm so worried about what everybody else thinks. There are times when I try to position this camera just so you can't see all of me. And it's not that hard because obviously it's front facing, but sometimes I'll move my arm and it's like, oh my God. The first person that needs to stop judging you is yourself. And I say that from a place of a person who is struggling with that. And I think that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Because, there have been times when I was like, I'd hide myself behind people, or when we're taking pictures, or I would just be like, no, go ahead. I don't want to be in the picture. I just did that recently, actually. Like, no, I don't want to be in the picture. We're fine. But my cousin forced me to be in the picture. And it's like, okay, fine. And then I didn't care. And when I saw the picture of all of us together, I was like, you know what? I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I did this. Because it's a memory. And even though it's a memory in a phone that I can look back at, it is a memory. And how many memories are we going to miss out on that we can look back on because we're afraid of what we might look like in front of a camera, in front of other people? How many times have we turned down opportunities to go somewhere amazing because we're worried that, other people might judge us at these functions or events or whatever? I remember the first time I had gained back a lot of my weight and I did my 5K. I was so worried that people would judge me. But you know what? There were a lot of people there of all different shapes and sizes. There's athletic people who are more plus size than I am. It's just, that's their body structure. Maybe they have a health issue and that's what causes it too, but they don't let life stop them. And like I said, it's not just plus size people who have body positivity issues. It's what we would consider the tiny people too. It's in here. It's not about this. It's what's happening in here. And I'm going to leave you with this thought because it's one that I love to share a lot. What you speak is what you hear. It's what your brain processes, and it's what you're going to end up seeing. So speak kindly to yourself. You know, I write it on my arm sometimes, like right here, right? I haven't written it on there today, but I put I am worth it, or I am worthy. I have post-it notes all behind my computer. You know, I will not surrender my power. Choose to be happy. Be better than who I was yesterday. Courage, strength, resilience. You know, all those things. Prompts. I am grateful for. I let go of. I trust. You know, in fact, here's a good one. This one came from Ted Lasso, and I can't remember the dad's name, but I know it was Sam's dad on Ted Lasso. And he said, stop thinking about the answer and let the answer come to you. If you open yourself to it, the universe will give you a sign. And I actually think that's a really good thing to end on, because that can mean stop thinking. Don't worry about people judging you. If people want to judge you, then you don't need them in your life. All right. What you need are people who are going to support you and encourage you, and who will be there for you when you fall down and help. You know, don't fall backwards. Just fall where you're standing. I know that makes no sense, but just if you're going to fall down or stop and need to take a moment, stop right where you're at. And then keep moving forward from that same spot. You know, I watched a YouTube motivational video where the brother says to the sister, get up where you're standing, or get up where you fell. You know, and what he was telling her is, don't look backwards, just get up from where you fell. You fell right here, get up, keep moving forward. But don't stay there. Just get up. All right. So I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Please fire your inner critic. All right. Fire the inner critic. I mean, who hired that person anyways, right? Just fire him. You don't need that in your life. You don't need to live on the island of misery. And that was it. It was the island. Oh no, the sea of misery and the island of overthinking. No, break through that wall of waves. Get to the ocean of bliss. It may not always be easy, but you'll learn how to deal with things. You'll learn how to respond in a way that is better for you. I promise I will work on the same. All right. I think once we quiet our inner critic, that's when the real changes can start happening. Because as I've mentioned in almost every perspective this week, I'm going to say it again. It's my quote of the week, right? It's like Sesame Street, brought to you by this quote: progress, not perfection. Baby sibling has said that to me so many times that it is ingrained in my mind. It is tattooed on my brain. Progress, not perfection. All right. And the biggest part about progress, not perfection, is you got to heal what's going on in here. Okay. Because that's where the true lifestyle changes start. That's where you find your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-love, your self-care, your self-respect, your self-worth, all those things. It starts in here. And it starts by what you say. So speak kind. Okay? Speak kind. Or, what was that card earlier? Positive thoughts, right? I used a light bulb on purpose for positive thoughts. Because it's like a light bulb. It's like a thought above your head. Positive thoughts. If you're about to put yourself down, catch yourself. You know, if you're about to say, oh my God, I look so great in this outfit or in this mirror. Change the narrative. That's how we get our vibes to start going better. Change the narrative. When you start changing the narrative, people are going to start seeing the outside. And it's going to be just as, well, sorry, I put that incorrectly. When you change the narrative, people will start seeing the inside. You'll be exuding all this joy, all this love, all this positive energy. And that's what draws people to us, is is our vibe. I know a lot of people don't buy into the vibe thing, but it's a thing. You know, you walk by people and you're like, ooh. You know, have you ever walked by someone and they kind of had this twingy vibe and you're like, ooh, I need to steer clear. That person's not in a good place. Or maybe you felt compelled to help them. Hey, are you okay? You know, or maybe you're like, oh, this is a person I'd like to get to know. They have a great vibe. You know, so just try not to judge one another. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying it from a plus size view. I'm not saying it. I would be saying this no matter what size I am. Don't give your inner critic any more work to do. Fire that bastard. Fire them and hire somebody who is hire an encouraging person to sit inside of that brain, right? Fire your inner critic and hire an inner encouragement person. Okay, change the narrative. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Tomorrow is Aloha Friday, Oracle Friday. So if you are watching this today, if you have thoughts or need questions answered or whatever it is, put them out to the universe, your higher power, your source, and maybe it will come to me tomorrow. I will go through the first 5 minutes. I will go through my little, well, probably not even 5 minutes. The first few minutes, I will go through my spiel on how it works. So if you are new and you want to watch tomorrow, I'll let you know. But yeah. And remember, not everybody's thing will get answered. But, and also, if you don't make the live, it's okay, because whatever you need answered, even if you watch it 2 days from now, if you're meant to be answered, your answer will be there. It's just, sometimes it's fun when it's live because people like to ask questions, make comments, or whatever. Okay. So again, tomorrow, Aloha Oracle Friday, put your stuff out there. And have a great, great day, everybody. Have a happy Thursday. And you know what? I'm going to do this too. Go out there into the world, and every time you want to beat yourself up for something, change the narrative and say, nope, you know what? It's okay. It happens. Shit happens. And just keep moving forward. Get up where you fell. Get up from where you fell. All right. Tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Facebook Live under Shelly Marie Lucas. That's Shelly Marie. No E. Only one E in Shelly. Shelly Marie Lucas, or you can watch it again later on YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas. And then from there, if you follow me on Twitter, it will appear usually like around 10 or 10:30 California time, Pacific time. So again, have a great, great day. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your mind, your heart, your soul. All right. And love yourself, because you are worth it and you are enough.